Yo, what's up? This is Splendid Radio on Pharcyde TV. I got my co-host Jeremy Scipio. You know what I'm saying? He done stepped up his little game back there, looking really crispy on him. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And we got one of my favorite people, man. This cat right here, man. We done been on many a tour bus, always a pleasantry to slap hands and just fellowship. I back when you guys were recording the Almighty Mighty Pythons.
Yeah.
North Hollywood. Yeah. So at the time you guys were
that's a long time ago, man.
The Pharcyde and Souls of Mischief were recording Almighty Mighty Python back in North Hollywood. You know, that was the house that ended up getting Ralph Tresvant to come and do a song. He brought Bobby Brown. Yeah. Bobby Brown is up in there. Bobby Brown is talking about. Well, now we ain't gonna talk about
that. I mean, go ahead.
Well, oh no, what I will say is we Brown had hooked it up, so we had got with Ralph Tresvant's manager, so he was cool on him. But Bobby was there, and Bobby was like, "Yo, man, let me get on the mic." He was like, "Yo," and we was just like, "Nah, man, you ain't signed no paperwork. We gonna end up with a song that ain't gonna be able to get cleared. It ain't, whatever." But But Bobby was real though, man. I mean, like, man, who you see is what you get, man.
Yeah.
who you see on the positive note though. He was a cool dude, but he was OG, man. I'll say one of my first times coming up there, because there was I think it was a Shell station that wasn't too far from the house.
Yeah, walking
distance. I want to say I had stopped by the Shell station, and somebody else had Bobby up there. And he got a Budweiser and some pork rinds, you know what I
mean? Yeah. Brown bag, tall can shit.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah. So but I go back with A+, man. I always say that dealing with the Pharcyde, I was kind of married in this different situations, and I'll say the relationship with Souls of Mischief was definitely one of the pleasantries of the cherry on top of being homeboys with the group that people would refer to as iconic and whatnot. And dealing with the Souls and a beautiful relationship over the years. I'll say back from 92, 93 with the Pharcyde, the Manor, when we had the Manor, you guys coming to town and all that. But it's a trip, man. But it is my pleasure to have you on right now. And I'm gonna ask you a couple of these questions, and we're gonna hop into the interview.
It's my honor, Smooch. Good people, man. Actually, this industry is a trip. You certainly one of my favorite people. I mean, this goes without saying that Pharcyde is family to me and to the Souls and Hyro. I mean, we kind of came in this game. We definitely came in this game together. But that being said, there's a lot of characters in this business, and it's not for the faint of heart. Without me just like going on an evil tirade against this shit, it's not for the faint of heart. And you certainly one of my favorite people, man, in this business. Certainly consider you friend and fan, man. It's an honor to be here, no doubt, straight up. And that ain't fodder or embellishing, bro. Like, we get down. You my brother, so it's an honor. It's an honor to be here. Just people don't know that this ain't just an interview with some dude that you got. Through hip hop, we fan bam. So it's the honor, my friend.
Yeah, and I'll say this before I hop in. I was really proud. The first time I went to Hyro Day was on Pharcyde performing, but then the second time I came up with Slink. But I was just really proud of you guys, man, to see how you brought the Bay out. And it was just like it was just on some unity, man. It was beautiful, man. It was beautiful.
Right on, man. Right on. Y'all came through that day that the time when Pharcyde came. Actually, that was the 1 year where I was head of booking for Hyro Day. I didn't do it by myself. I'm not trying to say I did it by myself for anybody who's watching this, but I was literally head of booking for Hyro Day that 1 year. And you already know because that was the first time I ever did that kind of business with you. And you were like, "What the fuck? You do business? You doing good business?" Because you know me as wild ass Emcee. Like,
You
wake
ain't
this
supposed
nigga up
to
in the
tell
morning. We
that,
about to go party at
homeboy.
night. You know. Yeah, so yeah, I remember I was on the phone like, yes, I'm gonna send the contracts. You like, what? This motherfucker, please, up at seven in the morning talking about contracts. You know what I mean? So yeah, that Hyro day was dope, man. But yeah, the one after that with Slink was dope too, as well.
Yeah. So tell me this, man. When was the
Small
first
world
time?
shit.
When was the first time you heard hip hop?
Yeah, man, I remember it. The first time I heard hip hop was my father in 1979. At that point, I was 5 years old, somewhere around then. And my family played a lot of music in the household. Both my parents are Jamaican immigrants, and so like they just when they came to America, they just got into a lot of different kind of music. And subsequently, me and my sister ended up hearing a lot of that growing up. So it was natural for new music to come home and dad to be like, listen to this, or mom to be like, listen to this. And Rapper's Delight, my dad was like, dude, son, you got to hear this song. He's like, it's guy saying poems over funky music is kind of how he described it. And I heard Rapper's Delight, bruh, and I was already a music head by that time already. You know, I used to hug the speaker for hours when I was little, like 2 and 3, and whenever I wanted to hear a song again, I just point at my parents and be like, again, and they know that mean I want to hear that song again. So I was already on that. But when I heard Rapper's Delight, I was like, wow, it just blew my mind. And as a 5-year-old, and then I ended up by 3 years later, I started trying to rap myself after I heard the message by Grandmaster Melly Mel and Furious 5, and so those are my first. Rapper's Delight was my first experience with hip hop music at all, and it was when I was 5 years old. I remember it. I was like turned out immediately. And that shows how old I am to anybody viewing this, and I'm proud of that.
Right.
I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it, man. You got to live to get here, you know.
Nah, man. That's it's a trip because for me, for whatever reason, I heard rap music, but it didn't resonate until like '83. For whatever reason, I just remember a lot of MTV in '83, and I heard the message, and I heard Rapper's Delight. But like '83 and them kind of and the trip, I could almost say hip hop was fed to us, our generation, almost like kids that watch cartoon were fed cereal, like the different brands of cereal and stuff, because it was because MTV really kind of like trained us like lab rats. Like it was like, you got this video, and they just played the video over and over and over. And then there was no social media. There was no way for you to really connect with an artist. And so when you got to see them on MTV, it was like, whoa, you know.
And for anybody watching, just to add into what you're saying, just to paint a picture, MTV was brand new. Like regularly seeing songs being performed in a video type platform or medium was brand fucking new. It hadn't like a music video, although there were a few of them out there, was not a big deal for record labels, and there wasn't a big push for them at the time until MTV. MTV made the music video, and at that time when we're listening to we're feeding for hip hop, or we're first hearing hip hop, we're listening to like Duran Duran and Cyndi Lauper and Van Halen and Michael Jackson and whatever the hell comes on MTV. We like, yeah, I love that shit because it's the video.
The greatest
marketing. It's a new thing,
The greatest marketing tool ever, man. Didn't even understand what it was.
Changed everything, Smooch.
Yeah. At what age did you realize you had a talent for wordplay?
It was certainly after I'd started rapping, because I didn't think I had wordplay when I first rapped. I just sounded like the people that I liked the most, like me and Ty J sound like Run DMC /LL / whoever we listened to at the time. I think it was creative writing class, probably like 7th, 8th grade, when I really started having an affinity for the things that make wordplay, understanding psychologically how words worked and the poetic nature of words, and like finding more descriptive words for for a concept to get it through faster, as opposed to like layman words, and getting a bigger understanding of a concept through those words. I didn't start really getting that until like 7th, 8th grade. Like maybe even 9th and 10th. It might have been a span of all those years was when I was really getting into creative writing and understanding more of how these words just move emotions and make people think, and you can kind of direct with these words. That it was from 8th to 10th grade is when I really, but that was a time when I really got into, like I wanted to know more ways to say shit, and the regular old words, just like, that was it. Basically, it's creative writing class, and some of my teachers taking a liking to me and being like, "Yo, man, you like, you could, you're good at this. You should write poems." And I was told that I should join drama class and stuff like that, but by my teachers. But I was a hip hop head by then. And I was like, "No, I'm gonna be a rapper." You know what I mean? I'm gonna blow up big. You watch. So yeah, it was in between 8th and 10th grade, and it was certainly my English classes, my creative writing classes, is when I realized my affinity for wordplay and understanding how words affect people, and how you could like enhance what I'm trying to say and be more definitive when you're trying to tell people shit simply by the words you choose and the way you phrase them. It's fascinating, even to this day. You know what I mean?
Who do you think was the hardest rapper around that time?
The hardest?
Or group.
If we're talking like early 80s, early to mid 80s, we're the hardest rappers was Run DMC. After that, when you hit 86 and up, now you got LL, of course. I think LL was like the first aggressive, like that aggressive rap. And they got to remember, no one had been that aggressive in a song up to that point. That was, at least that was released nationally for people to hear. It's before you heard LL. You was almost like, God damn, you know what I'm saying? He's kind of making me aggro by hearing this song a little bit, And so, and then from there, you got like different levels of hardness with BDP and Rakim and Public Enemy. In this burgeoning music, we had all these different ways that you could be like a potent and viable, volatile black voice, So yeah, rappers like that. And then of course, when NWA came, there was like another way of expressing, firm hardness within the voice of hip hop, So that's my short answer.
Hey, I saw that firm hardness. I want to say we were probably in New Mexico. And,
man,
somebody had took Tajay's camera.
Remember that?
They took the camera, and and I definitely saw a different side of him after that, man.
hey, Tajay, one of the coolest people in the world, but man, I've known him since first grade. He's not for play at all. And he's good to have on your side. He's good to have on your side and play, because he will do it, But hey, and you know what? That place, Sunshine Theater, is that what you're talking about, Smooch?
Yeah.
Like so much. Man, Planet Asia got chased by a dude with a machete there. Like Living Legend RV got robbed there. Tajay camera got stole there. I think on the Atmosphere trips, a girl got raped and murdered there. It's like there's an aura around that place that's kind of like trippy, bro.
One thing that I noticed about it was there was a lot of Native American people out there. And it was kind of interesting because they lived on the reservation, but they identified with like hip hop and the hip hop movement and whatnot. But it was kind of whack because you could see that they were kind of treated like they were treated like the black people.
Yeah,
they were treated like the black.
Pardon my French.
Yeah. No, they were. So tell me this. So how did you meet the Souls, and how did that form?
The way I met the Souls was
Souls of Mischief.
Yeah. This is like it's a loaded question with a loaded answer, my friend. I met to paint a broader picture, I met Casual, Dell, and Tajay all in the first grade. Wow. Dell was in the third grade, and it was weird for a first grader to have a friendship with a third grader. But me and Dell just kicked it off like easily. Tajay was my ace, my main brother, I mean, I know like that's like my best friend, bro. But him and Dell are my best friends. They different because Dell was the older figure up until I was an adult myself. But Tajay was somebody I grew up with. And so we all come from the same block. I mean, me, Tajay, and Casual specifically live within 30-second walk from each other most of our young lives. So yeah, that's how I met them. Later on, at some point in the mid to late 80s, Opio moved on the block. Fest lived near around Dell's block, so we were all kind of like, we're all from East Oakland, man, and some of us literally, I could run to Tajay's house in 15 seconds, wow. Or less, and same with Casual. So that's how we met. We met as friends before we started being hip hop together.
And then Hiero, how did that thing happen? Well,
Hiero, so the way it started is like me and Tajay we were in a group together. Like that was my first hip hop group. It was me and Tajay. You know what I'm saying? And at that point, like I was friends with Dell. Tajay wasn't really friends with Dell just because he just didn't know him. You know what I'm saying? And but hip hop was so scarce and so few and far in between where you knew somebody who did it. It wasn't really a popular thing to do. It was almost a weird thing to do. Back then in the 80s, people would look at you like, ha, you rapping, haha. It was like it was laughable. So if you knew somebody who was into it as much as you, that was a unifying factor. You were like, oh, you too? Hey, do you got, and then now you got a friendship, right? Or you got something that you build with people about. So fast forward a bunch of it was basically around like 6th, 7th grade. I was already friends with Dell for mad years by that time, but that's when I realized that he was doing hip hop too. And I was like, word, me and my friend Tajay, we been a group and blah, blah, blah. So like, I guess Dell, he had been in the hip hop before then, but me and Dell mostly linked on computer shit at that point. Cause we was both like the who was in the computers and Tajay too, like way in the 80s and shit. My dad was a computer systems analyst and operator and programmer. Since the 70s. So he came from Jamaica and hopped into that job. So I had been around block long mainframes since I was a kid. It was like a normal place. So when Dell was my computer buddy, and he started playing me his songs. And up to that point, me and Tajay did songs, but it was like recording the boom box, recording us beatboxing and rapping over each other beatbox. And I had a Casio SK1, and we had really crude songs. And Dell came through and it was playing like songs, like real good sounding songs. I'm like, how the fuck are you making these? He's like, well, my boy Jinx in LA, he's friends with my cousin Ice Cube. Ice Cube, he's a rapper. He's gonna be out one day. And I'm like, your cousin O'Shea? He's like, yeah. Ice Cube, he raps with Jinx and blah blah blah. And I was like, that's how you made them songs? And these are like 4-track recordings. And they're like dwarfing how me and Tajay sound. Me and Tajay are really like on tape, rapping over beatboxing and shit. And so Dell connects us with Jinx. And next thing you know, like we were making songs with Jinx in like 7th grade. And so at that point, Jinx likes me and Tajay as a group and introduced us to Dre and Easy and shit. And it's like, these young kids, we need to sign them. They're gonna be all this and this and that. And that's how we ended up in Jinx's crew called Busy Boy Productions. And then from there, shit just grew. Jinx was working with Ice Cube, and they blew up. And Ice Cube was like, when Dell, my little cousin, they was rap buddies and shit. They used to call each other and say raps, like Dell and Ice Cube. So Ice Cube was like, Dell, when I get on, like, I'm gonna do whatever I can to get you on. And then Dell was like to me and Tajay, like, when I get on, I'm gonna put you on. So that's kind of how everything happened. And during that time, Cash and Opio, well, Casual first, and then when Opio moved on the block, and then DJ Teray, they were having their own hip hop endeavors, like kind of separate from us, and then from that point we linked because only so many people were even doing it and dope or whatever, and thought it was a cool thing to do. So we just kind of linked crews from there, and it just built from there. You know, that's again my short answer.
Amen, amen. I love it. Like, you know, last week we had Breakbeat Lou on. And,
My brother, my DJ, love him.
His name, you know, precedes him. You know what I'm saying? It's like the word Breakbeat, the name Breakbeat Lou just sounds so huge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you get to meet the guy, and he's just such a wealth of knowledge. It's kind of like, okay, I get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, like Breakbeat Lou, like I was hanging around him a couple days before I realized that, oh, that's Breakbeat Lou. That, you know what I'm saying? Oh man, dude, he is like I remember how I got introduced to Ultimate Beats and Breaks was Dale started traveling first. I mean, you know, we were still in high school, and he's going on the road with Ice Cube and recording his album. He's not out yet, but he's like on the verge, got a record deal. And so, you know, we're all still in high school, and he would come back with and we're all hip hop junkie type motherfuckers. So he would come back off tour with people and have shit that we're like, oh my God. Like, and so he would come home with Ultimate Break Beats, and he would play them, and he'd be like, this is where they're getting the samples from. This is where like all the songs that we know intricately by heart that we've been hearing, like, how do they make this shit? And he would come home with Ultimate Beats and Breaks vinyl. And that's what that's when we started understanding looping. And Sir Jinx was the one who taught me how a loop happens. I was like, because when you hear these songs, you're like, how are they doing this? I got this record at home, but this part is replaying and they're rapping over it. And the only way I know how to do that is the double cassette pause record method. You know what I'm saying?
Pause mix.
Yeah, you already know it. You already know. That's OG
Pause
shit.
mix.
That's OG shit. And so these breakbeat records, man, and then, you know, the story goes on that, you know, I got the whole set digitally, you know what I mean? And then after 20 odd, almost 30 years, I'm this motherfucker's DJing for my clique. It's like, you know, if you asked the universe what was going to happen 30 years ago, and if you would have said Breakbeat Lou would be Souza Mischief DJ, and like, I would have been like, fuck off, dude. Get out of my face with that bullshit. You don't know what you're talking about. You know?
You know what? No,
but calling him a no, I'm sorry, but to your point, him being a wealth of knowledge, man, it's like also one of the most like just realest, humblest. Like he's full b-boy, and it's like he's not timid at all, but he's just mad warm. You know what I'm saying? And mad humble, mad like inviting. You know, it's like, yeah, that's my man. Salute. And it's an honor to rock with him. That's my word. You were saying, Smooch? I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no! I get excited, man. I be ready to bust out the bullpen, man. You know?
Hey, man, speak on it, brother. Speak on it.
I be ready to bust out the bullpen, but it's a trip because Lou, in the breakbeat fashion, he's knowledgeable of new wave, he's knowledgeable of house music, he's knowledgeable of hip hop. He breaks down hip hop. Like Jeremy asked him, because Jeremy's like a head, like really he's a head. And Jeremy was asking questions that was Lou was giving answers, and I was kind of like, man, this is deep. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I feel like when you meet such a relic, you know what I mean? Like I got answers, I got questions. I need to get the real, because you know what I mean? Like, you know, everybody else is like a history book, you know what I'm saying? Like just like even how you were talking about LL, right? Like, you understand, there's a generation of people. If you said LL was the hardest rapper in the game at one time, they'd be like, the dudes that make love songs?
Yeah.
The host of what's the show? I worked on the show too. I gotta think of the show. It's a dancing show. It's a
Wait, what you talking about?
But yeah, it's a show he hosts, where literally it's just people just singing and dancing. Like, but he was the hardest rapper in the game at one time.
Imagine that.
But yeah, I just but I asked Breakbeat Lou this question. I'm gonna ask you the same question. Because
he froze.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I said
I'm here.
Okay. I asked Breakbeat Lou this question last week. What's your favorite film associated with hip hop?
Oh, wow. Okay.
It could be a doc or whatever. Like, you know, it could be a TV series, whatever.
You got to give me a second on that. Because you know, I had hella knee-jerk answers, and then I ended up having 4 in my brain. So,
Let me guess, Wild Style was one of them for sure, right?
Wild Style was definitely one of them. But you know, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I love all of them, and this is a hard question, so I respect it. But I love all of them. But I'm gonna say the one that touched me the most, and it might have been timing, it might have been where I was at in my life or whatever. Beat Street. Beat Street is because like it was I think it might have been the first time I had a serious like emotional attachment that was tangible for me when it came to hip hop. Like I was like it's the kind of shit that stuck with me and the rest of the souls too. Like when we first went to New York and had our first trip to New York, we were thinking like we're where Beat Street was at. You know what I'm saying? Like we're walking in the streets of New York and it's 91 and we're like, this is what we saw on Beat Street. Well, we've been dreaming to be here since then. And it just had a real strong effect. I remember even the storyline raps that went with the soundtrack. I had the soundtrack on vinyl, you know, the Beat Street soundtrack. And I was really like literally touched by the stories and just how dope the Melly Mel and the Furious Five were, and it was just how much that shit touched my heart at the time. So I watched all of the movies and I loved them. I loved oh damn, I'm drawing a blank. You know, Electric Boogaloo was part 2, but what was the part 1?
I'll give you an answer right now.
The ones that was filmed on the West Coast.
Oh, Breaking.
And also, yeah, Breaking. And then Breaking Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. Also rapping with Mario Van Peebles. I like that shit. And just everything else that came, I really like. I'm a hip hop dude, so I love all the movies. But Beat Street was definitely the one that and I'm not saying it's the best one made. I'm saying it's the one that affected me the most. And the one that it was just at a pivotal moment for me. And when I saw that movie, I was like, I'm doing that. I already knew that before. I know it more now than ever. I'm doing that. And I'm gonna be in the books. And it affected me like that. And all the way to the point when we were negotiating our record deals in 91, we were jumping around in the hotel room, throwing 20s around, talking about we're rich, we made it. We're in New York. Wow. You know what I mean? So yeah, hard question, but Beat Street would be it for me, brother.
That's a good pick, actually. Big Street was directed by Stan Lathan, which, I mean, everything he touches turned into gold in his history of hip-hop and comedy. Great pick.
Wow. I bet that was a brave on-taking at the time for Stan.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The time in 1984?
Yeah, you know, it was still like a music that was going, like, to most people, wasn't going to last. This will be gone. It's going to be like disco. Like, this is not serious. It's a parody music. So, like, but people who really felt it back then were like, nah, you don't understand. This is going to be around, you know? You don't get it, you know?
Number one genre.
The biggest cultural influencer in the world. Number one music genre in the world. You know what I'm saying? From that. So, yeah. Beat Street it is. And thank you for that. I should have known that. Thank you for letting me know the Stan Lathan thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say you know, me thinking about it, the storyline was dope too. I'll say 3 things. The storyline was dope. Ray Don Chong, whoever had it to put her as the love interest, they were on point because she,
you know, I might have wanged a few of those to Ray Don back in the day. You know what I mean? Once that thing came out on VHS,
you know, you can enjoy the privacy of your own home.
TMI. Now you were saying it was Ray Don too.
Storyline.
You said it's Ray Don Chong. And what else was it, Smooth?
And the storyline, and then the prophetic part, which the prophetic part was how the hip hoppers had the culture, and then you had Ray Don Chong and her people, which was kind of like the culture vultures. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they came in and they came in, they tried to snatch that thing up. You know what I'm saying? And re-freak it, and then, you know, get everybody to kind of give for free to make their thing big. but the people who really did it, they really weren't in a rush to kind of, push them out on the forefront. It was prophetic, man.
It was. You know what that made me think of? An honorary mention, like Crush Groove. It's just they portrayed that, they showed that same culture vulture thing again, and at that point we're looking at it like it's not a hip hop thing. This is something that they do. You know what I'm saying? Like to our shit. But yeah, just a side note to that good point you made.
So
another side note. Hey, Radon still bad.
Oh,
Lord, man. As soon as I get off here, I'm about to check her Instagram and be like, I ain't thought about her in a minute.
I went to
I'm on the Instagram.
I went to high school with her first cousin, man. You know what I'm saying? I went to high school with her first cousin.
Word.
Yeah, that really don't mean too much, but yeah, I did. Whatever. But
I didn't know that was Tommy Chong. That's funny. I didn't know that was Tommy Chong's daughter. I'm just not finding it out.
Yeah, I knew that back then. I was like, man, the world is growing together.
Hey man, lime in the
comedy.
coconut, man.
Yeah, the lime in the coconut.
So I say all the time, like for myself, for instance, I don't really put it out there, a lot of the different businesses I have or what I do, but I probably should. And I say that, some of the things I do and other people that I know is kind of like a sack of diamonds in the woods. You wouldn't know it was there unless you tripped over it. And so with Plea, Opio, we were having some B-roll conversation before we hopped into the interview, and I was telling them that Opio kind of had brought it to my attention how sick A+ was on the beat, because we were talking about the name of the album. What was the name of the album? Triangulation.
The Trilogy.
Trilogy.
Yeah, that's Social Mischief third album. Shout out Opio, man.
Man, shout out Opio, Festo,
Tajay,
you too, Plea.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
I was talking to Opio about the record, the album, and he was like, Plea did that beat, because I was asking, I was asking him who did beats, whatever, and then Opio was like, nah, Plea be coming with the fire, and I was like, dang, he do. And the crazy thing about it is,
I see where you're going.
Everybody, the only person that I haven't heard produce from you guys is Festo, but Tajay is cool on the beat. Opio, man, I've got so many of Opio's beats, and then thank you, Plea. I reached out to Plea a little while ago, and he shot me some production, and he gave me some a few beats to listen to too. So I'm definitely gonna tap back into that this weekend, man, because I think I really didn't listen to it the way I should have listened to it.
And I got more stuff to. Side note, I got more stuff too. So like, I'm an open door when it comes to you, man. So it's all good.
Yeah. So tell me this: when did you produce your first beat?
I produced my first beat. I want to say, hold on, let me grab my lighter. One at work. I produced my first beat. I want to say it was around 1987, 88. By that time, I was already a DJ. I already was working on my vinyl collection. I was like, I'm Jamaican, man. I had jobs. I'll mow your lawn. I'll wash your car. I'll paint some shit. I'll do whatever. I'll shine my dad's shoes, whatever, to get some money. And by the time I was able to work, that wasn't until like, I want to say 89 or 80, whatever. So I was just always trying to do shit. So my point is, by that time I was already a DJ. And so I used to hang up. Dale was like, we were inseparable. You know what I'm saying? I was like, if you remember, like, being that young, me being 2 years younger than them, I was the young dude, clearly. You know what I mean? Like, young blood with me. That's how Dale was. It's like, why is this young nigga around? He with me. That's how it was. So he was in a group with some brothers. My man D Shane, my man D Shane Campbell. Him and Dale were a group. Me and Tajay were a group, and I think Dale's DJ's name was TMX. It's been like 30 odd years, so if I get it wrong, forgive me. But there's another dude named Carl who was in there. Carl Jones. He was from the 90s in East Oakland. He was Dale's friend, and they used to hook up and make songs together with that double tape deck record like mix. So there would be somebody lay the beat down and then scratch the samples over it and go back and forth. So you had this hissy ass beat and then you lay vocals over it the same way. So I used to just go and watch them because I was a young dude. I couldn't really interact and stuff. I had my own raps and Dell knew that and blah blah blah. But I was just a young dude, so I was happy to be there. And when they were like not working with the shit, I had asked, could I play with the Dr. Rhythm? And TMX would be like, you could go ahead and play with the Dr. Rhythm. We ain't using it. So I don't know what they were doing when the older dudes would go off, but I just sit there and learn how to program the sequencer. And when they came back, I would have a beat on there. And they'd be like, yo, what the fuck? This dude know how to make beats. So my first beat I ever made was on the Dr. Rhythm. When
Dang.
The hip hop guy.
there, like I learned from, yeah, man, that's real talk, bro. I understood sampling because Dr. Rhythm don't got no sampler. But yeah, it's just programming beats. And as somebody who had listened to hip hop up to that point, I'm like, this is how they make the beats. This little thing, you know what I'm saying? This beat machine. This shit is like this. It blew my mind, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, they make these beats and then scratch samples over it, like, yeah. So that was my first beat. And then when I actually really had a chance to really like sample and make beats was at the Onion Lab. Again, I went there with Dell, and that's a whole nother story. And I learned how to, and then Sir Jinx showed me how to make beats. So when I got to the Onion Lab, Dell was our producer, me and Tajay's producer prior to then. And then one day I felt like I knew enough to where I could make my own beats. And I was like, Dale, I want to make my own beats. He was like kind of butthurt. He was like, man, all right. but yeah, that was it. It was in between 87 and 89. That's when I cut my beat teeth, man. And I took off from there. It's a thing. I love that just as much as I love even more sometimes than I love like being an MC, which I love, you know what I mean? But I come from a musician family, and making music it's like casting spells, man. It's like you could do something that affects other people's body, soul, and spirit and you create it at home. That's an amazing concept to me, and it kind of blew me away when I realized that. And I'm gonna be making music forever, bro. Shit, my son, he's like 19. He's like 100 times doper than I was at his age. I'm like, dude, I was like whack compared to you at that age. So he plays a guitar and sings and plays a piano and makes beats. So that's like a family thing for me. It's a family thing for me. It's like we love music, man. We love, So yeah, my first beats was probably 87. My first dope beat probably wasn't until 90. But I'm gonna be honest, like you know how it is. Just like my first 5 years of rapping, me and Tajay sound like dumb DMC. You know what I'm saying? For real.
So I know I've heard you use the terms interchangeably, and I always wonder because KRS-One introduced this argument into our lives, and we got to deal with it. Do you believe there's a difference between an MC and a rapper?
Yeah, I believe. Those nuances and the rhetoric and semantics that come with that, it's a deep concept. I believe I know in my mind I know the difference between the two, and I believe on whoever I'm talking to, I'm certainly in both. I'm an MC because of the craftsmanship of it and the honor part of loving the craft. Mm-hmm. At the same time, there's people who are good at the act and art of rapping that aren't MCs, yeah. And you can be dope at moving the crowd without being as honorable with the craft as an MC is. And I believe these are both doable, and people are different. So me personally, I believe I'm an MC at heart, but like for people who don't, if I say I'm talking to somebody who don't know the difference between an MC and a rapper, they might need to just hear I'm a rapper, but I'm also a businessman and all of that shit, Mm-hmm. So like, I'm on the side of as above, so below when it comes to things like that. Like if we try to make like that kind of concept black and white, somebody's gonna miss something huge that's involved with the totality of the concept.
Yes. That's exactly where I'm at with it.
Right on.
I feel like it's like some form of classism, and I feel like the way hip hop evolves, there's no need for that because there's always going to be we legitimize acts that stick around, and then there's always the new children that's even worse than that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like I remember when snap music was bad. Now, would they love snap? They would pray for snap music compared to mumble rap. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like, it
Yeah.
just gets worse and worse and worse. So I think that level of classism never fits. Because in comedy, they have it too. It's comedians versus comics. And no matter how you try to dice it up, it's like, it just doesn't really fit. You know what I mean? Because it'd be like,
Yeah.
the anomaly will always be Eddie Murphy. Is he a comedian or a comic? He's both. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which renders the whole concept. It's just, but I listen, when people bring it to me, but for the most part, I try not to indulge because I just feel like, I'd rather talk errors than that classism or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, like the analogy of you putting it mirroring that same concept from hip hop to comedy, like that was kind of like I was like, wow, I hadn't thought about it like that. Like it's kind of like it's the same shit. Like you're a comic and I'm an MC and I know exactly what the fuck you just said. You know what I'm saying? That's dope.
Well, the origins
I hadn't thought about it like
comedy. The origins in comedy and hip hop both started the same. You know what I mean? Where basically the just like but you had the DJ and you had the MC, but then the MC started getting more attention. Then the whole point of the MC was to point out the DJ, like, yo, listen to this guy. But then he started getting more attention. It's the same way where comedy, the host of a variety show, was more interesting than the talents. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So then they just started going like, all right, well, why don't we make a show full of hosts? And it's like it's just constantly intertwined. I mean, my interest. If I actually had Hot 16, then I would have been a rapper instead of a comedian for sure. I just can't spit.
Hey, to that point, let me say something. And only people who've seen this see me do it know this. It's nothing I've ever said live though. But like around like 2 years ago, as a part of my stage show, like when I started being like I'm in a group, Souls of Mischief, most of my life. So I start doing a bunch of like solo shows, and I'm realizing that like when I'm up there with 3 other dudes, like I get way more rest time. I'm up here by my damn self after doing some songs. Like I need to do some cool breathers. I need to do some mind shit on the crowd, so I'm entertaining them while I'm getting a fucking rest, right? And so I'm one of them people. I'm a huge comedy fan, and I'm just a funny motherfucker in general. Like thank you. And so I started doing this thing to where I had this girl at the time, and she would send me these like the driest funny jokes whenever she stumbled on them. And so I was like, I'm gonna do that into my stage show when I'm taking a break, and just to slow down the flow of like when you're jumping around and fucking rapping, it's just tiring. And I started doing like little like really super ultra dry jokes in stand-up form as a way to catch my breath but still engage the crowd. So you just made me think of that. Like I'm gonna tell you one of my jokes. Just so you know how corny they are. And what did the buffalo say to his kid when he had to leave home? Bison.
Oh, he's stupid.
You see what I'm saying? Hey, and here's go, and I'll be looking at the crowd like, no, you don't like that. And everybody who just heard me rap who came to see me, they'll be like, I was like, come on, I made y'all laugh. I said, let me try again. Let me do another one. Say, hey, man, I mean, this is serious, though. Man, did you hear about that kidnapping, though? He woke up.
Stupid.
Yo. But as a rapper, if that's your break time, that's genius. That's fucking genius.
I'm actually about to write these down.
Hey,
write these down.
Hey, how do they do publishing? How they do publishing credit in comedy land?
Well, if you wrote it, you get 100%. I have to forward it to you.
So I got my next question, please. But somebody on the YouTube chat, they want to know, when is the next Souls album jumping off?
Man,
Hey.
the next Souls album is jumping up. That's a hard question. Well,
After everybody finished doing their solos.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest and just like, just say something I probably shouldn't say. But there's a Souls album that was recorded like some years ago that hasn't never released, and Tajay is kind of like, we kind of waiting on, to see when Tajay think it's cool to release it. So that's one thing that's already recorded and done. I even got a video for one of my songs on it. But that said, that's probably not the Souls of Mischief album that people talking about. Who knows? I'm saying it can happen. There's nothing making it impossible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that we're one thing about growing up the way we grew up and being in this group and being like young and famous at a young age is that as much as we grew fast in certain areas, a lot of shit that we need to that normal people grow and learn about during that time, we got to come back and circle around to like have that same experience in our own lives, not for better or lesser, but I think we're at a time in our lives where we're all going through our own personal transformation.
No, I understand it.
And yeah, you gotta know, bro. Yeah, you manage Pharcyde, bro. You know what I mean?
I understand.
So yeah, I think, to answer the question definitively, I think when everybody's like hitting the landing on that and have acclimated to what life looks like, once a man, twice a child shit, that when the next Souls album be done, if ever that would be the time, and that goes with, and this is my opinion. This ain't etched in stone, but I think the same goes for Hieroglyphics album as well. It's like, I think everybody's in their own life, like circling, doing like real personal shit. And God willing, when everybody has gone through that process to the point to where we could circle back, that would be the time. I know it's gray area, it's ambiguous, but as such is life,
Mm-hmm.
Man.
I love them though. I love them boys, and like I'm for it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. I'm with the shits.
Not for me to criticize from the outside, but I'm gonna tell you what my own personal view on the Souls of Mischief and Hieroglyphics is, and this is from my personal interaction with you guys. This isn't like something that I'm a super fan that's never talked to you and I'm just kind of guessing and living in a fantasy.
Now you're family.
But all you guys are highly intelligent, and I don't say that like man. I mean, like, y'all are, so my relationship with Casual, hella smart, dude, hella smart. I'll be like, man, you talk and I'll listen. Like from when he first started doing his little Facebook stuff and he was giving like the little stock tips and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? That was incredible. To Opio and Tajay and Higher Education, and then just even Festo, and then you on the artistry level and the producing and all that. It's in Dale. It's not like there's a group of people that are just like mediocre kind of guys, you know what I'm saying, in their own right. You guys are kind of, y'all y'all kind of dope, man. Like outside of hip hop though, you know what I'm saying? So I can totally get how inside hip hop it's kind of like, man, you got all these geniuses. It's like, so that's what that is. But my next question is, who are your producer influences?
Oh, my producer influences. Oh man. There's a few, man. I guess my early influences would have been like to where I knew that I was dealing with a producer by name. Because, back in the day, I was, we were into hip hop before we knew what a producer was. Producer wasn't the name you knew. Like just how you were saying before, like in the early days, the MC wasn't even a big deal. The DJ was, and then the MC. So when producers started really becoming a thing to me in my mind, it had to be like around the 86, 87, 88 era of hip hop. People who stand out in my mind from that time are the Bomb Squad, DJ Mark 45 King, Dr. Dre, Premier, Lord Finesse, Howie T, There's there's more. I know there's more people. Who's the dude who produced the dude from New Jersey? He was doing Poor Righteous Teachers and YZ early stuff. Like this was all of this stuff was coming out at a time when I was like, of course, like Q-Tip, Tribe Called Quest, Prince Paul. I was like an ultimate sponge for anything. I was like the consummate hip hop nerd. If you went to my house, and Tajay could vouch for this, my walls, I put all my vinyl on my walls, so all of my walls in my room were covered with vinyl, and I kept my vinyl in crates separate from the covers. I was like, I was just head over heels fucking with hip hop. So I was really for instance, let me tell a story about 93 Till. The way I found the sample was because back in the day, people used to have to put who they sampled when they cleared the sample in the album credits. And so I would look through all of my favorite hip hop records, all their credits, and then I would take whatever little money I had and go to the record store and buy these artists or try to find these albums or any other artists, any albums by this artist that my favorite group sampled. And so I remember for one song on Gangstar's second album, Premier sampled something by Billy Cobham, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy that record. And I went and I found a record. I was like, mad broke at the time, obviously, but I found a record. I paid like $2, and I took it home. And then the 93 Till sample was on it, but also something Premier sampled and something somebody else sampled. And I was like, oh my God, how did nobody sample this? And that's how I found the 93 Till sample. But that's just a side tangent story to my hip hop influences. I'm sure I said Dr. Dre, and then in the later in like the mid years, it's like people like Timberland and Pharrell, and Dungeon Family. Like I'm just a hip hop fucking nerd, bro. I love this shit. Like I'm like my sister and them call me the hip hop encyclopedia. Like I'll get phone calls being like, hey, so who wrote and who produced this? A+ knows, you know what I'm saying? So I love this shit. Granted, I had to tap out sometimes in the early 2000s, like, but as far as remembering everything, because it's just too much to remember now. But also, I want to mention Kanye, 88 Keys, as people who've influenced me. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping I don't leave anybody out, like who's Hitman, Howie T, Herbie Love. I know there's some people.
All the producers in hip hop, man. The
Marley Marl.
That's funny.
But I'm a student though, bruh. I'm a prudent student, man. Like,
how about who's a student of you? Are you pretty? I'm pretty sure you know about this. It's Eminem and Andre 3000. The one thing that unites them when they get together is talking about just Hyro and everything. Like they say, like they go back and forth and nerd out over y'all music.
Man, like I'm beyond honored for that. Like we've met these brothers before, and I mean, way early in their careers, man, and like for them to be where they are and like have the free that, man. There's a lot of people who like that, we don't look for the accolades, man. We want them to come see because we're real hip hop heads. But there's a lot of people who would like say it to us behind, to our face, but wouldn't be able to think it would be suitable to say publicly. And to hear legends like them, like man, it's like, it's the kind of stuff that like 20 years ago or whatever, I don't have the presence of mind to be like, this is what would make me feel dope 20 years from now. It's like, it's impossible to even see far. And to hear that, and like people like Kanye saying shit publicly, people who don't have to, it's like we're underdog music, you know what I'm saying? Like Souls of Mischief and our whole we're grassroots, man. We're really, the fact that we got any like commercial or that kind of attention is a blessing beyond what we were prepared for. So when people like Andre 3000, who's and Eminem are clearly two of the dopest in our culture ever, all-time greats, say that, man, I'm honored, man, and like you know, I'm honored that, you know, that's the kind of shit that where you don't know that's what you did it for until it happens. You know.
When was the first time you heard that news?
To be honest, like I kind of knew that about them because they had expressed it in different ways through different channels prior to that. But that was the first time it was on such a public scale. Because when we first met Outkast, Outkast's manager and them was like, they introduced us. We went to Freaknik and went to hang out, and like, you know, we're big Outkast fans, you know what I'm saying? But I guess what we're learning is that we come off as not approachable by our music at the time. So a lot of people who might want to say what's up probably won't, because like they think we're just like rapidy rap when we're actually man cool. And so Outside manager, Outkast manager was up when they, you know, connected us Freaknik back in that's a whole nother story. Anybody who been to Freaknik, they introduced us and kind of like, yo, hey, nice to meet you. And then the manager was like, oh, y'all don't front, man. Like he was like, they fuck with y'all. They watch y'all videos. They listen to y'all music. They just being shy right now, for lack of a better word. And so and then that's Outkast, and now they're like, you know, fucking, you know, like
of course.
I look up to them, and they still have, you know, the whatever feeling, be able to say kind of shit from their position. Like, how could you not feel like honored and give thanks? Because them boys is crazy, and to be anything that may have inspired them is kind of like, you know, that's the kind of you get into hip hop for. I wanted it in the books with the people I looked up to and respected. I wanted them to like fuck with me too, you know. So to get that kind of love from them, and when it comes to Eminem, the thing with Eminem, he remembered that like we met him back in all of D12 and all of them back in the day when like they were like on the underground scene like killing it, and the underground scene in Detroit was like fully hating on them, and they came to our show and they was like, we fuck with y'all, man, like can y'all get us on, like let us get on before y'all. And the promoter that booked us out there was like, nah, fuck them, we don't fuck with them, they smoke crack and all that shit, was saying crazy shit. And we was like, nah, fuck that, man, let these motherfuckers get on. We was like, fuck, because the promoter can't tell us no. We got a packed house in Detroit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Hieroglyphics
sold out.
Sold out. And so like D12 and them got on, and like Eminem and them blew up a couple years later and never forgot that shit. And so for him to say that publicly, like, that's dope, because he didn't even have to, because we already kind of, you know, if people look in the credits of his first album, he thanked Hieroglyphics, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you look into the credits. Yeah, and it was from that night. He didn't have blonde hair yet. It was black. I was really like, this nigga's weird, but he's cool. That's really what I thought. I was like, this nigga weird, but he cool. And then they got on stage, and I was like, oh, my God. And he was mad deep. He had a bunch of niggas with him, you know what I'm saying? And they was mad cool. So, yeah, for them, to circle back, for them, Andre and them talking, like, and giving us that, like, how could I not just, like, give thanks, you know what I'm saying, and bow and be humble, you know.
Somebody from the chat wants to know, can you do the Big Bio song?
The Big Bio song?
Yeah, that's what they have.
What the Big Bio song? What song is that?
I don't know.
And could you ask them to circle back? Could you go back, because I rarely draw a blank when it comes to songs I made. Big Bio?
Yeah, Big Bio. Here, I'll pull it up. I'll try not to be distracted by reading the chat and you know, and doing this too. But it came up. But yeah, I have no idea.
Big Bio. Is it an A+ song?
I don't know.
Big Boy.
Oh, am I reading it?
Big Boy. Oh, the
Big Boy.
That's probably what they meant. Thank you. Comedians are smarter than rappers, clearly.
Yeah. Yeah. On that one.
Big Boy. Can I do the Big Boy song? Which one?
Wheel of Fortune.
Oh.
You got a song with Big Boy?
Nah, I don't got a song with Big Boy. I love Big Boy. I love Andre and Big Boy both. I fuck with Goody Mob. I fuck with the whole dungeon.
Yeah. No,
That's a
that's
weird
what we're
question.
gonna do. We're gonna make Jeremy the chat moderator, man. We're gonna put him on the chat so he can read the questions when when they pop up, so we can
So that type of question, I'd be like, denied. No.
Yeah. You're gonna be like, next.
Next.
Hey, Smooch, on that note, before it leaves my mind, I know this is a tangent, but earlier you said that Chevron or that gas station that was around the corner from the Pharcyde spot where we was recording, and then that message came and said Big Boy. So, as weird as my brain is, it reminded me of an incident I had with Big Boy, LA Boy, at that Chevron when he was coming to the Pharcyde spot. Right?
He would because he was working at Power.
He's working at Power. He was still a big dude. He had a huge blue SUV. It was mad big. Suburban. He had a mad big. So check it out. This is a mad short story, but it just came together cosmically. I have to tell it. So I remember walking to that store. It was like a couple blocks from where we lived. LA hot as fuck. So, you gotta like walk slow. So I walked to the store and I'm walking right up, just got in the gas station part, and I walk up to the door and this big ass SUV pull up on me like right in front of me, this close, and he hopped out. I was like, "What's up now, nigga?" And I'm like, like what the fuck is happening? And it's Big Boy. And he's like, ha ha. He had his girl.
That story.
It's a real story, bro. Like, I'm like, nigga, like, because y'all got B's and C's down there, and I'm from the Bay and shit. I might have had on red, I don't know, but he pulled up on me like blue ass Suburban 2 feet from me, like, stop, and it's like mad scene. I'm turning around like, oh, I'm not in Oakland. I have no weapon. Oh, I'm slipping, and he's like, what's up now, nigga? And then he hop out and it's Big Boy. And I'm like, bruh, my stomach was, I was like, oh, what the fuck is wrong with you, blood? Like, and he was like, ha, 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 I got your little ass, nigga, what you doing? I'm like, pfft. So yeah, that, just a side note, because of the Big Boy shit and the Chevron shit. Anyway, moving right along. That was fucked up too, dude. But dude, man, that was fucked up too. He got me, and it's hard to catch me slipping. He got me, bro.
No, that's
not surprising that he's the prank guy. So that makes sense.
His thing. That's his.
Yeah. That's how I learned that. That's the first prank. I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? I thought he was like a bit of a music mogul business dude, not a prankster. Fucking scared the shit out of me, man. Dude, I think I might have just squirted just a little piss, man. You know what I mean?
That's funny.
Just this much. So anyway, moving right along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, next.
No, you.
Okay, uncomfortable silence.
What's the best advice you ever got? What's the best advice you got for life and or hip hop?
Okay. The best advice I ever got was, all right, let me think this through. Two things. I don't know which order they come in. Look at blessings like one, like a way to keep your head straight in the music business is look at it like it could have never happened to you, so be thankful, and that's true. And two, it could end tomorrow, and that's true, so be thankful. Yeah. And if I focus on those two things and keep them forefront in my mind, that should be enough to keep me grounded through how weird and treacherous and unique the entertainment business is. Those two things. One thing, it could have never happened, and be thankful. And two, remember that shit could end tomorrow, and be thankful. If I treat every moment in this business and in this venture, in this adventure as such, I should be able to stay grounded throughout all of the pressure and the temptation that comes with it. And that's the best advice I ever got, and I've gotten as it pertains to the music business and keeping my head about myself. And I've also passed that down to some of the BGs that have asked me that same question. Some of the younger dudes in the industry, You know what I'm saying? That have asked me like, what did you? That's one of the things that I do to this day, and I swear by it. It has kept me grounded, and I've seen people lose their footing for not doing exactly that. You know, and so that's literally the best thing, the best advice I've ever heard, and I pay it forward every chance I get, because I stand as proof that I firmly believe that shit is sound advice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm dude. So yeah, we're gonna in the future we're gonna have somebody reading the chat because it's difficult for me to focus on two things at once. The way my screen is, but I guess somebody wanted to know if would you do a Big Boy collab or something about it was Big Boy, not Bio. It was they misspelled.
Oh yeah, I'm dyslexic too. I get it. That no harm, no foul. I would do something with Big Boy in the second. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I mean, what? Yeah. Why would the question is why? Who would?
Yeah.
Why would I?
I don't rap and I do a collab with Big Boy.
Is that an inside?
You feel me?
Joke?
I think the big point here is don't trust the person who wouldn't do a song with Big Boy.
Yeah. I mean, he's a diamond selling artist. I mean, that's hard to turn down.
And on top of that, man, I know Untitled 3000 gets a lot of the accolades, and you know, he rightfully so. But that's a duo, and Big Boy is just as good in his own way as Andre. Just good, just as good. I mean, steel sharpens steel. Like Outkast is Outkast. Like, yes. I'm not. If somebody asks me who I think is better out of them two, I'm gonna tell them fuck off.
It's exactly. I think I don't know. I do appreciate the platform that they put Andre 3000 on, but they act like Big Boy wasn't putting in work too. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude, still work. He still put out albums. I mean, he put out albums without Andre 3000. You know what I'm saying? Like, good songs, good music.
They are not
underrated.
With all due respect. With all due respect, like Tretch and Vinny. You know what I'm saying? Like, Tretch and Vinny know they're the main dude, and the Goonie support that could rap too. It's like dope in his own way. Like, Outkast is they 50-50, bro. They dope because of each other, and they dope without each other because of each other. I think to me, Big Boy just as dope as Andre 3000. If just come from an MC point of view, like, I know them as Outkast, and I can't really separate them. You know, I can listen to solo efforts. Big Boy obviously has done a lot more there, and I don't look at him as like half of Outkast when he's doing his own shit. I look at him as Big Boy because of what Outkast is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Speaker Box and Love Below proved that, you know, they were independently strong together. Like it's like they're both worth the equal amount of accolades. They, you know what I mean? Like I think
that part.
It kind of annoys me when I get into these hip hop conversations. They be like, Andre 3000. What about Big Boy? I'm like, nah, cut it out, man.
You know, a lot of times when people take that stance, I'll be like, man, you wasn't outside. You listening to the legendary talk. You wasn't outside. Because if you was outside at that time, it was Big Boy and Andre. You know it. Like them songs that touch our heart time after time, bro. Like when people are listening to the legend, like Andre, one of the best ever, which he is. Like you could just tell. Like, I'd be like, you wasn't outside, man. I ain't gonna hold that against you.
You say went outside. Oh, you mean like they just be on the internet? They wasn't really.
Well, I said, you wasn't there. You wasn't there for that, but you're talking like you was, and you sound like it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with not being born at the time when a dope song comes out. But just, you know, don't pretend like you was there at the and say things frivolously out your mouth that are clearly untrue to someone who was.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
my T.I. impression.
Your top 3 producers, A+.
Top 3?
Yeah.
Quickly, Dre and Premier. Let me think about the third. Dre and Premier are my top, or me personally, as a fan. I'm not reading like accomplishments or nothing. Touch me. Oh God, man. See, 3-8, man. Fuck, bro. Can I have like can
It was the question was 4, but I feel like whenever I throw 4, people just be like, "Oh man, it's just too many, man. You give me too many."
And I forgot to mention earlier about the modern producers that I love. It's like Ev and Alk. Some of my they not only are they friends, some of my favorite. But back to your question, I'm trying to deflect, bro. Aries are good at it, but I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that to you, Smooch. I love you too much. Like Dre and Premier, they're kind of like like Kobe and Jordan. It's kind of like don't deal with the third at this point, fuck, bro. That's really shout out Just Blaze. Oh my goodness.
Just Blaze. Just Blaze.
So my top 3, and I'm coming from the perspective of people that influenced me. It's me. It's a very particular set of circumstances. I would have to say that 3 would be Premier and Dre. Oh man, this is like rough, bro.
You know what? I'm gonna
maybe Prince Paul. Maybe Prince Paul.
That's fair. I'm gonna tell you somebody who's dope that comes from the Bay, and people really don't give him his props like that. But man, Shock G's ridiculous, man.
Oh my goodness, Shock G. You know what? I look at Shock G, bro, and that's my brother. I love him, right? I look at him like he's a musician, man. Wait, am I still here?
Yeah.
Y'all can hear me? Okay, cool. Like Shock G is a musician, bro. Like me and Shock, man, Shock is like I consider him a friend, like one of the cool people in the industry, like really cool. He's like a person, you know what I mean? Like a cool musician. I think he knows how to make beats, and he makes dope ass beats, and he's phenomenal whenever he does it. But when I think of him, I just immediately think like he's I don't know, he's like a hip hop Princey to me. He's like a Prince type motherfucker to me. And it's like, you can't be like, is Prince a singer? Is Prince a dance? Is Prince a guitar player? Like it's like
artist.
Yeah, he's an artist. Thank you for saying it better. Thank you.
Now, one of the most important questions that I was supposed to ask, and I didn't even get to them because that's what happened when I'm interviewing family, or we interviewing family. I just have so much that we could discuss. Let's talk about this project with you and the architect.
Okay, with me and the arc, I'm gonna tell the story behind it. And to date, we put out 3 projects this year. One February 21st, one July 4th, and one I think 3 weeks ago. So we put out first Free Dope, second Chamber Games, third Black Switzerland. And we're already we're planning to release another one before the end of the year. It's kind of like, well, I'm gonna talk about the shit, but anyway. So how it came about was in the end of December last year, close to Christmas, a brother hit me online. He was like, "Listen, I want to get you on a verse. I'm a big fan of Souls of Mischief. I'm a big fan of Hieroglyphics, and specifically, my little brother is like, you're his favorite in Souls of Mischief. So I want to ask you how much you charge for a verse to do along with me. I'm an MC. This is him talking, and how much you charge to get on a song with me and you." So I could, I'm a brother for Christmas. And I was like, word, that's dope as fuck. I mean, I'm in my brain, that's you know me, I'm an empath type motherfucker. I was like, oh my God, in my head. So I was like, word, I'll do it. So I was calling around for a studio I could go to, and I called Architect. And he, Architect, my brother, he's like part of Souls of Mischief. I've known him for well over 20 years. I'm working on 30. So I called him. I know he has a studio out here. I've never been to it. And I was like, man, can I go to your studio, record this shit? And blah, blah, blah. What would it take to do it? He's like, man, come on through and record it. And he's like, as a matter of fact, just do a verse for me when you hear on one of my beats, and we'll call it that. And I'm like, perfect, let's go. So I laid a verse for the brother, and then when that's done, I'm like, thanks, Art. And he loads some beats, and I'm like, that one. And I lay a verse for that shit. And shit came out mad good. And then we just instantly started just having this big ass talk, like, what about doing, like, trying to do a project? It was like mad organic, you know, and kind of like planning for 2021. He was like, man, if we could do this and like just have an album knocked out and make another one and hit him this year like mad hard, that'll be dope. Cause he like played like about 80 beats to me. You know, bro, I could like, yeah, I could work off this all year. And so that's kind of like how it started. Was Christmas Eve last year when he let me record that verse, when he recorded that verse for me and recorded a verse for him. So the whole this year has been us just making music. Then COVID happened, so it kind of slowed things down, but we still on it. So that's the long story short about me and the architect shit. But you know, we've been busting that, and I think people can tell the growth in our process from Project 1, Free Dope, Project 2, Chamber Game, Project 3, Black Twitter. And also, like a side note, you already know, like Imani was on like the first album.
Hey.
Yeah. And we were in the studio and we were trying to think of who would fit good on this song. And I think it might have been Architect. We was like, man, like what you think about somebody from the Pharcyde? I was like, bro, I will call Imani right now. You know what I'm saying? Because it sounded like this will, you know, I was like, yeah, this is my dude. And so I texted him and he was like, and then he called me. He's like, man, don't be texting me no shit like this, man. You need to call me. You know what I'm saying? You know, Imani. And then, yeah, so side note, shout out my brother. And I still owe him the first. I owe him. So, damn, this don't look good on my part. I got you, Imani, if you're looking.
So tell me.
But yeah, that's the whole like shit with the art. I've been doing like little experimental projects over the years, but I hadn't really done a solo project since my first one, My Last Good Deed, in like 2009. Everything I had done since then, like, you know, Pepper Spray was like a Red Hot Chili Pepper sample shit. And then I did shit with Nobody. I did Molly's Dirty Water with AG on some electronic fusion shit. And, you know, I was doing a lot of experiments. We were like a hip hop album from Aplus, you know, and I figured like, why not just do it this year? And so that's what I've been doing with Architect. It's just like just kind of separate and just like not having no standards or expectations beyond what I feel like doing artistically. You know, after many years in the business, it's like, you know, sometimes OGs and legend acts get caught up in like, how do you balance between what people expect you and the growth you've had since then and that you want to express as an artist of now. And that's like a slippery slope, you know, and it's hard a lot of times. So with Architect, what I'm doing here is just like I'm just being like what I'm gonna say. You know, it doesn't ring bad on Hieroglyphics or Souls of Mischief or anything. It's like the responsibility is mine, so it's whack. It don't reflect on the click and the fan. And at the same time, I just like I got my off. You feel me? I'm satisfying my artistic hunger, and so that's the artistic approach that I architect on the projects we've been doing, and it's fun, man. It's like I'm enjoying making this music, man, and just like, you know, it's like I said, that once a man, twice a child shit. I'm at a place of. And I'm also doing with music as well, and it, you know, it feels good, especially how fucked up and uncertain things are right now. It was good to have that level of certainty within myself and that kind of pure joy, even in the midst of this madness, you know.
So that leads me to the next one, which is where do you see social interaction in the next 2 years with this whole COVID thing going down?
Oh man. That's hard to say, man. Like, I don't know. I look at this stuff like it's like this is like life changing. Like this, I think this is the world changing event I've ever seen during my lifetime. I think anything that comes close is 9/11, and as horrible as that was, it pales in comparison to what we're going through now. And Man, I think it's really hard to tell. I think in hindsight, there's a lot of good things about what's happening right now, especially as it pertains to the creative and the people who are on this side of the business, the creative side of like, behind the scenes firm, you know what I'm saying? Like, businessmen. I think, like, for me personally, this pandemic has allowed me to deal with I don't know. I feel like more centered about things, and I prioritize things a lot better because, a lot of the fodder in the world that has us, like, using our time loosely or not being as serious as we could be about situations. A lot of that has vanished for everybody, like, at large, and how people deal with each other and the opportunities that are there at this time. I'm just, I don't know. It's a very bad time, but also there's a big chance to make really big moves for self and in places that is specifically for people in our business, like the moves that we can make. We can move at a faster speed and cover more distance happening, and it's really difficult to say, but like, it's kind of like, all right, since it's fucked up, what's good about it? And I'm finding that there's a lot of good things about the world's hand being forced in this place. There's a lot of good things that are happening. And I'm actually, for lack of better phrasing, happy in the struggle. Like, it's still a struggle more than it ever been. But I'm kind of amped up about it, like, it's kind of like there's no turning back from this shit, and there's more certainty in that than there in a lot of ways than there was prior for people of color and people who can empathize with what I'm saying.
You want to hear something crazy?
Always.
It ain't even been a year, and it seems like it's been 3. You know what I'm saying? We haven't even hit a year. We ain't even hit a year, and we're worn down. I feel like if life since COVID hit is the analogy of me on the dice table, and I've just won thousands of dollars to where it dwindles down to where I'm just throwing money on the table and not even looking. I just want to lose all my money to just get it out of my hands so I can just walk away from the table. Like,
in there. I feel you, brother. I feel you. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like this year, man, nothing like it, man. It's like it's a trip. Like I said, as testing and trying and horrible it is with so many people dying. I mean, I died on my birthday this year. You know what I'm saying? From COVID. So I mean, I could still say that, like, in hindsight, man, since it had to happen and since it has happened, I'm blessed in many ways by it, man. It's like it has had a way of really putting things clearly in perspective, and it's kind of like a get over yourself shit, and you know what I'm saying? And like, not even like it was like not me, like the whole world, get over yourself, and those who can't, like, they fucking stand out. Clear as day. Like, they could have lied, they could have been weaselly and snaking to you less than a year ago, but now it's like it's out there, and I'm like, not that. Here we go. Let's go. And it's like, since it's fucked up, what we gonna do? And at that place, I find that I'm inspired.
So, okay.
My brothers.
Dopest. You cutting it now, I guess it's probably why. But I say, what's the dopest hip hop group after Pharcyde, Hyro, and Souls of Mischief?
The dopest hip hop group. Can I spread it out a little bit?
Sure.
Oh man, y'all are let up on you, man. They ruthless out there.
That's Jeremy.
Man, like Wu-Tang Clan. He mentions is Monday and Gangstar and now.
Wait. Hold on, I know I heard Wu-Tang Clan, Gangstar,
And Whole Dog Pound.
Okay.
I'm West Coast. I'm West Coast. I can't, what I look like. What I look like, not saying, questions. The answers will be difficult to accept as
well, nah, please. We gonna bring you back on the next project, man. We gonna get a stronger internet connection in the whole little situation, man, and get it tight. But I do, man.
Hey, wait. But were you saying that? Like, how bad is? Am I? Can y'all hear me? Has it been horrible?
Not horrible, but it's been choppy. We gonna get another one though. We gonna bring it back in. But hey, man, I'm not picky, man. I appreciate the fellowship, the chopping it, the knowledge.
Hey, Smooch, how about this? We have another project coming at the end of the year. Because I got the call from you today. I got off work today, man. I'm an IT med tech. I was at a hospital, like fixing their shit. I got your call. I'm a Jamaican. I had to get a COVID-proof job, baby. You know what I'm saying? I just got off work when I got the call from you. Can you do it today? And for the people out there, like, literally just got the call from my brother Smooth. So how about this? Architect and I have a project coming out for the end of the year.
Both y'all. We gotta have both y'all.
So like to first of all, thank you for having me here. But can we just put it in the docket?
Calendar.
Like,
we'll do it. I'll send you a Google calendar.
You pick the day that you want to make it happen. We have an album that's coming out Christmas Eve. A project that we're specifically making. We're sending the year off after these first 3 projects. We'd love to unveil it with you, Smooch. We gonna chop it up with you. We're gonna chop it up with both y'all in a couple of weeks. We're gonna chop it up. Yep, we're gonna chop it up in a couple of weeks. For me, man, I have a very talented family member, and I had I was communicating and keeping it cool, and then it was some radio silence, and so I was like, you know what, man, I'm not gonna just be out there. I get it. I tried to do this, but I think I probably need to do that, and then that turned into what I had hollered at you about a couple of few ago. So because we actually hollered about it earlier this week.
Yeah.
And to put it in the mix, and then I'm glad I could be here to plug the hole today, and I would love to come back on a more planned day. I'll make sure it could be my internet fucking this shit up and I'll make sure I'm in a stable place. We get Architect on here and we could do it again, brothers. I'm certainly honored to be here today with you today, man. Smooch, you my man, you my brother. Like you a human I love. You a good dude, man, and you always fam, and let's bring it back. Let's bring it back more planned out and do it again.
And I got a whole nother conversation for you. I'm gonna hit you tomorrow though on that.
Word up.
We'll get some stuff going. So anything you wanna shout out other than the Black Switzerland?
Yes, if I can. Everyone out there listening, check out Aplus and the Architect, Free Dope, the first album, Chamber Games, the second album. Black Switzerland just came out a couple of weeks again, the third album. We got one coming at the end of the year. Also, I got the album coming with myself, Pep Love, produced by King Ductor. He's an LA beat scene dude. Y'all should know from 808. Ooga Booga, that's coming out. Also, I got an album coming out New Year's Day with Sunspot Jones, Stony Hawk 2. That it's all coming and we not stopping. It's just hip hop. We just love hip hop, and now more than ever, as if we didn't before, we appreciate the support. Thank you for having me, man. Shout out Hieroglyphics Souls of Mischief. That's what it is.
Hey.
All day, always, same way.
The hardest working man in hip hop around this mug.
That is a shout out. That's a real one. That's how you supposed to do it.
Thank you. Thank you, fellas. I done have fun, bro. Like I'm looking forward, man.
Nah, we gonna get it right. This was getting it, working out the kinks a little bit. What's up with you, Jeremy? What you got going on? Anything?
So I actually have a schedule, but I expect everything to get canceled this week. So we'll see.
What, because of the COVID?
Yeah, because of lockdown and curfews, and it's just like it's a fight. I don't even I
Are
play
we
it day
still
by day.
are we still locked down? I know that's a shame that I need to ask.
It's a curfew at 10,
Still?
but at least for at 10 o'clock. But they caught they caught Gavin Newsom breaking his own curfew. He was at a dinner party.
I saw that.
without a mask. So
hey, they caught his ass.
Yeah,
they caught his ass. I saw that. That's crazy, man.
Yeah,
so
man.
Wait, before we go, I know that we've been on here a while, man. Look, we haven't really touched on COVID, man. Y'all in SoCal, give me. Well, I mean, I'm assuming you in SoCal. I could be wrong.
No, we all in SoCal.
Yeah.
So like, California is a big state, and our communities are, we like cousins, and we the same place, but actually our economies and cultures have differences in them. And how is COVID like down there for y'all down in SoCal? Because LA is like, it's a different beast in the Bay, man. Like, how are you dealing with it? I can only imagine what it looked like downtown. There's people out here like, I don't give a fuck. Is Malibu desolate? Is the hoods people wear t-shirts on their face? Like, what's going down?
Hey, the freeways was tumbleweeds and prairie dogs for about a week.
1 week. That's LA.
And the traffic,
1 week.
And then the traffic started slowly grinding. Slowly.
Yeah, no, I would say it was about 2 weeks. It was very weird. I say that. It was a very weird time. 2 weeks, yeah. It was, man, it was weird looking at Google Maps, and it said you can get from North Hollywood to Santa Monica in like 10 minutes.
And it's not 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Wow,
weird.
bro.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah,
like,
I just want to say honestly, dog, you were like probably the most energetic interview we've had, and I appreciate the energy. You know what I mean? Like I said, we definitely get the kinks worked out, but like straight up, your knowledge. I mean, hip hop wise, like I said, I would love to just go back and forth with you and just get your piece on a lot of things, honestly. So,
man, thank you. It'd be my honor. I'm looking forward, man. I had a great time as well, and I'm certainly appreciative, no doubt, man. And it's been a pleasure. Good to meet you. And now we here. Keep the link lit. We gonna link lit.
Absolutely.
Because like Smooch my family. So this means I just met. I met his family. We fam.
Yeah. I'll hit you on Facebook, or sorry, IG.
Absolutely. I'll be checking.
Yeah. No. All right, bro.
All right.
Peace.
Be well. Peace.
See you.
She was tracking these guys, so maybe this is a way. Ground team is checking for contagion. These guys' hands is no longer an issue. We analyze the box of key. Just says, it's been a long time since we had a moment. Okay.